Welcome to this week's episode of Thinking Thursday. I'm Jasper James, an intuitive, healer, author, and founder of Social Justice as a Spiritual Practice. I'm honored to be your guide on this journey, where spirituality meets social change. With everything unfolding in the world the way that it is right now, it feels necessary to shift from my usual format, where I generally choose topics and show ideas and plan them weeks in advance, to something more immediate, more present, and more responsive to the current moment. This shift isn't just for you, the listener, it's for me too. What began as a podcast exploring social justice through a spiritual lens has gradually evolved into something more intimate, kind of like a living diary of what it means to create and hold a social justice religion in real time. As threats to democracy grow louder and decades of progress seem to be slipping through our fingers, I find myself navigating these waters not only as a spiritual practitioner and communications strategist, but as someone deeply embedded in multiple spiritual communities, someone who listens closely to the emotional and energetic currents of our time. That's why in this week's episode of Thinking Thursday, I feel called to ask, is this a time to disconnect or reimagine how we engage? Lately, I've noticed a rising theme in many spiritual circles I'm connected to, a soft but firm push towards stillness, detachment, and disconnection. I've heard well meaning teachers speak of not getting involved or choosing to just be, while withdrawing from the fear of the world in order to protect one's energy. And believe me, I get it. The moment does feel heavy. Nuclear war rhetoric is in the air, systems are cracking, grief is everywhere. And for the spiritually sensitive, the nervous system can only hold but so much. But here's the part that keeps catching in my throat. Is this true spiritual evolution? Or are we avoiding something deeper? It's tempting to tell ourselves we're above it, right? I mean, these are 3D concerns. That choosing peace means choosing silence. But spiritual bypassing, the tendency to use spiritual ideas or practices to avoid confronting painful truths, has many names. And right now, it's wearing the mask of transcendence. We can't chant our way out of fascism. We can't meditate away injustice. And we certainly can't soundbathe ourselves into liberation if we've left the most vulnerable behind. It just is what it is. I say this with deep love for the spiritual path because I'm not critiquing the stillness itself. I'm critiquing the way we weaponize stillness to bypass our responsibility. So, what exactly does SJSP offer instead? Spiritual justice and sound protest was never just a concept for SJSP. It was born from this tension, from needing a place where we don't have to choose between being spiritual or being politically and socially awake. If you've listened this far, like me, at some point, you might have asked yourself, what if showing up for justice is a spiritual path? What if dancing in protest is a form of prayer? And what if speaking truth to power is its own type of mantra? The overwhelm is real, but so is the calling to stand for social change. And I don't believe those things are mutually exclusive. I've been dreaming of a space, maybe SJSP is it, where we acknowledge fear, grief, and exhaustion without abandoning the fight for life, justice, and harmony. A space where we practice nervous system regulation so that we can move through these times with clarity and power. A place where frequency meets revolution. This isn't just about staying plugged into every outrage cycle. This is about asking, how can I be in right relationship with the world while honoring my own body and spirit? That's the question I'm holding, and I invite you to sit with it too. That about does it for this week's episode of Thinking Thursday. And don't forget, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more spirit-forward content. I'm Jasper James. Thanks for watching. And let's continue to build a world rooted in equity together.